Right, there's been yet another postponement for the ANC Free State's elective conference, which was meant to sit this past weekend. Now, according to the ANC roadmap and guidelines, all provincial conferences were meant to have been convened and concluded by now. The Free State Interim Provincial Committee is set to meet today to discuss a way forward. Our senior reporter, Sipamandla Goke, is covering this story for us. He's in the Free State just to give us more. Sipamandla, just tell me something. According to what you're seeing there, will we ever actually see the ANC in the Free State convene an elective conference?
A difficult one to answer, but simply put, yes, they have to convene that provincial conference. They do not have a choice. It's a constitutional requirement to do so. But realistically speaking, they are struggling to do that. They have been delaying, postponing having this conference for a very long time now. Even the last date that they had projected, which was this past weekend, did not work out. Simply put, because their structures in the province are in disarray. They are failing to meet the threshold to go to the provincial conference. You cannot convene a conference if you do not meet a certain threshold. The branches of the ANC in the Free State are struggling to convene branch general meetings. The question is, will they be able to convene this provincial conference before the December Congress? The answer is not clear at this stage, but it's not a train smash if they are unable to convene this provincial conference before the December Congress, because branches of the ANC will go to the National Congress as branches of the ANC. The National Congress is for the branches of the ANC. Branch delegates from the Free State province will go to that National Congress, but it will be a blow somehow in terms of numbers, because members of the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC in the Free State would not attend that conference as the PEC, because they would have not been duly elected. Somehow it does affect the issue of numbers and influence. Remember, you are talking about electing the national leadership, so each and every vote counts. If the PEC is not in good standing, that will reduce the amount of numbers and influence that the province will have going to that provincial conference. The meeting is underway behind me. I see Opa Hobane there, who speaks for the ANC in the Free State. I think they are having a break now as we speak, but earlier on I spoke to Mr. Mxolisi Dukwana, who is the convener of the Interim Provincial Committee of the ANC in the Free State, and this is how he answered that question about whether they will be able to convene that provincial conference before December. Let's take a listen.
Looking at the conditions that are prevailing, and if you were to ask me as a person, I would say no, it will not be possible. But because we are given this mandate to push for this conference, to have it sitting, we are banking that we would have made enough inroads to have the conference by the end of November.
And Sipa, did he have anything to say to you, that's Dugwana, did he have anything to say to you about the factions that are so clear and glaring in the Free State?
He concedes that that is the challenge that they are still battling to deal with, and that has led somehow to this provincial conference being delayed. The Free State and the Western Cape are two provinces of the ANC that have been unable to convene their long delayed provincial conferences. Both of them have been plagued by issues of factionalism, disunity, structures and branches that are not functioning. ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa, when he was here a few weeks ago during the program of the Letsema campaign, did talk about that concern regarding ANC structures in the Free State that are not properly functioning, saying in most cases some branches will only convene to prepare for either a regional conference, a provincial conference or a national conference, but the day-to-day running of the branch is something that is not really happening in the Free State. Mxolisi Dukwana conceding that they are still battling to deal with that, and it has contributed negatively towards them being unable to convene this long delayed provincial conference. Many people have an interest on what is happening in the Free State, because for many years it has always been a very strategic and influential province of the ANC within the ANC body politic, but of late the province has been plagued by deep divisions and disunity. Listen to Mr. Mxolisi Dukwana.
Remember, the December conference is the conference of branches of the ANC, and branches are nominating and they are doing the work, and we hope that we would have taken more than enough branches, the number that we qualify. It would have gone through the PPGMs and would have nominated and will participate in the conference of December.
As branches, not as the PEC.
No, as branches of the ANC. The challenge that we have also, the same people that you're referring to that have been bold and outspoken about us not willing to go to a conference, we have demonstrated our tenacity in pushing for this conference, but many of them would attend this PPGM and stay outside in their cars. And in some instances, they are the same people who are turning people away from these PPGMs. And I think there needs to be some honesty, and today we are going to be discussing that.
And Sipa, just very quickly for me, if you could just explain so that I understand, and maybe the viewer who is also just asking themselves the same question. This is so close to the National Elective Conference that's supposed to happen in about 2 months' time or so. That's very little time. So how does this this lateness and postponement of conferences between the ANC and the Free State and the Western Cape, how's that likely to affect December?
In a way, it will affect the ANC in those various provinces that you have mentioned, the Western Cape and the Free State. They are the only two remaining provinces that have been unable to convene their provincial conferences. In the Free State, for instance, where we are, there is too much work to be done. There are 5 regions of the ANC in this province. None of them have convened their regional conferences. And that alone is a challenge. If you're looking at time frames in this regard, tomorrow is the 1st of November, if I'm not mistaken. You don't have time to convene your regional conferences before you go to your provincial conference. It will affect the upcoming December Congress in a way that both provinces will not be able to send their provincial executive committees to the conference. They will only send what I can call a downscaled version of the branch delegates who will be coming from branches going to the December National Congress, and that will affect the balance of scale in terms of numbers and influence. When it comes to voting, those leaders of the ANC would have been nominated by ANC branches from the Free State and the Western Cape are likely to be affected in terms of numbers, because the PEC going to the conference goes as a block and they are counted as a block. But if the PEC is unable to attend the conference because it would have not been duly elected, only branch delegates will go there and participate.
All right, Siphamandla Goke, live for us in the Free State. Let's leave it there for now.